So originally this person had asked how I got into farming, and I told them and they didn't want to believe me. So I'm going to tell you guys about it anyway. So I was actually born into farming. My parents, you know, had their own stock as well as, you know, being relief milkers. They worked at the sale yards. My dad's a fencing contractor. They had a ton of fucking jobs that they did. They were also raising 8 daughters. So, yeah, we didn't get any handouts as much as people think that I fucking did. I grew up povo. As much as my parents had so many jobs, they had so many children to look after too. But I was actually born into farming. I never got pocket money. I was always jealous of kids at school who got pocket money, cheeky little fuckers, whilst I got nothing. And the way that I would earn my money when I was a child is, I think one time I got 50 cents for doing the dishes. You know, we had a roster because there were so many of us who was on, you know, doing the washing, who was sweeping, who was fucking mopping, who was doing the dishes, who was doing this, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one time I got paid 50 cents and I still don't know why. But because I was so young and I couldn't get a job, I would also sell stuff in my room. I'd sell like little ornaments and stuff like that and get like $2 for them. And because my parents were relief milkers, I would come with them to, you know, to milking, and I'd earn about $5 for just that one milking. So over time, I, you know, would save that money and I'd put it into, you know, I think my first calf was a Jersey heifer. Don't buy jerseys, they don't fucking make much. Anyway, and I bought her for $22 and she actually ended up carking it like a year later. But I had then, you know, built up my money from doing, you know, milkings and stuff like that, that eventually I bought my first steer. And he was like this, some scraggly little fucking longhorn looking thing. Anyway, he, but he was about $60, and I sold him, I think I sold him a couple of years later for about $1,300, but over time, I, you know, put all my money into buying stock, so I bought one at a time. I couldn't buy, like, fucking 10 at a time. I was a fucking child. This person seemed to think that I won the lottery or something. I have no idea, but yeah, over time, I made my way up the fucking ladder, and then into my teenage years, you know, my stock was up to, like, fucking 10, only 10 animals. But I was getting there. I was fucking, once I put my mind to something, I'm going straight for it. But yeah, I've always been doing that. And then eventually once I got to, how old was I 2 years ago? No fucking clue. 22, 23. I started Only Hams, Only Farms, whatever the fuck you want to call it, without actually calling it what it's called. You know what I mean? And I started doing that because of my mum had cancer at the time, and her extra cancer treatments that she wanted and needed were a little bit expensive. So yeah, that's why I started Only Hams, as well as, you know, looking after myself and looking forward to like my future and what I wanted in my future. I'm not one to, like, you know, just dream of things. I'm gonna fucking pursue them. So I was like, you know what, I want my own farm. I'm not gonna rely on just one single fucking guy and people will call me a fucking gold digger. Like, I'm gonna, you know, I'm not a fucking bludger. Like, I'm gonna give people stuff in return, you know? I've always been like that. I don't like accepting just money for doing nothing. So yeah, I've always earned my money fair square. So then once that money started rolling in, obviously I started upping my herd even more. And then I bought my tractor, you know, I'm about to buy a farm. Bought my ute, my horse float, my working horses, stuff like that. But yeah, I earned my money fair and square. I didn't win no lottery. I didn't get any handouts. As I said, I was part of a big family, so we were fucking povo. But yeah, that's how I started out. Hopefully, this can, like, you know, help people, because I get messages all the time of people being like, I want to start farming, but I don't know fucking how. I'm also going to post a video after this, possibly, about tips on, you know, starting out, just like this is. Like, the main tips are, you know, you start with one. You just start with one and you build your herd up, you know, one at a fucking time. Like, obviously, if you have the money, sure, go buy 50 fucking head. But a lot of people can't. So, yeah, anyway, that's how I started farming, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. I'm so glad I was born into this line of work, because, you know, it's not work, it's a lifestyle, and I absolutely fucking love it. Anyway, if you guys have any more questions, go right ahead and ask me. Have a good fucking day. See ya.